I think that's my cue that we are live. I'll wait to see the chat start rolling in here. Hello, everybody. I am Steve Nicholson, joined here by the one and only Michael Meyers, the Alpha Geek, bringing to you another wonderful AMA today. And today's a very actually special day. Tell them why, Mike. Why is today special?
I'm finally going to get my new hairpiece.
That is a big event, but something
you have to say that. You have to say that carefully.
All right, I see comments rolling in. Hey, Ali, Mohammed, Kenny's here. Good to see you guys.
So what's happening today, Steve?
I think today we were going to finally continue our 1102 objectives coverage. Just kind of quickly go over that. We have a bunch of stuff in the news too to talk about. I don't know if anybody has been paying attention to the news between the EU and Apple over there. Did you see that article today, Mike? No,
is this more of that right to repair stuff?
Well, yeah, it's kind of along the same line, standards and all that, but they're forcing Apple to any of their devices that they sell that has a physical charger is going to have a USB-C connection. And then Apple tried fighting in court, saying that's going to cause a massive amount of electronic waste and inconvenience to their customers. And I thought, gee, that sounds funny for Apple to be worrying about that.
Considering all they've done, well, they standardized on Lightning pretty good over what, not quite 10-year period, yeah. 6 years for Lightning. I lose track.
Something like that.
I'm looking this up. You know, this is always funny because what we run into here, Steve, is the libertarian part of me that wants, you know, if Apple wants to rob people, fine, but then we should, instead of compelling them to use a USB-C, which is a good idea, okay? It's a good idea. But I'd rather that we instead compel them to open up their let other people make stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, open it up to a wider ecosystem of developers, hardware and app developers.
Yeah, because we're past any form of, I don't know. I used to think patents were a good idea. Now I start to worry. I mean, patent and trademarks. I mean, isn't Mickey Mouse trademarked for forever now or something like that?
I think so. It's perpetual.
You know, let's see. I don't want to.
And they are putting their own chips from their own facilities and their own devices. There's not really too much trade secrets to get out there or too much competition at the component level. So yeah, I could see them opening it up more. It would definitely be.
Well, no, wait a minute. But you know, like with the M1 and M2 processor, I think I want Apple to, you know, have a little bit of monopoly there at first, but it can't go on forever. And now here you go, Steve. Let's work on this one. That price point of certain devices helps to define how long you can monopolize it, right? Sure. I'm throwing this out, but I just, you know, yeah. You know, a Lightning charger shouldn't cost that much, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know. But on the same token, the development time that they put in for the M1 and M2, I finally got to play with the M2 just this week. Miss Amanda got, well, I'll be straight up and honest, I bought her a new Apple laptop, mainly so I could play with it. And the M2 is amazing. I was running almost every major application in Adobe Creative Cloud on this one little laptop, running each one of them pretty good. Now, I wasn't working them to death, but they were all up and loaded with 8 gigs of RAM.
Wow.
It was the darndest thing I've ever seen. I've just been very, very impressed. And if there was disk thrashing, I didn't see it or notice it. But, you know, so I want them to make some money on that. You think about the R&D budget they put in. It's a hard one for me, Steve. That's hard.
No, I know. Because you know how much work goes into building something like that, putting out a product or, you know, technology or service over a long period of time and seeing your vision to fruition. It's tough to look back, or I should say it's easy to look back in hindsight and say they should do this and do that. But yeah, I was actually amazed. You bring up the RAM in there. When I was going over the stuff, the classes, the courses with the Mac Maniac, Mike Meyers, and he was talking about all that, you know, low performance memory that actually reserves for essential operating system functions and doesn't actually take away from the high bandwidth stuff. It's well thought out equipment. I will say that.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that I find interesting is that one more major function that was always an important part of what we do, i.e. RAM, is now just a feature of the chip of the CPU.
Yeah, that's true.
That's hard for me to wrap my old man head around.
That is true. Yeah, and then the distance that data has to travel is unnecessary or completely minuscule now, which means it gets there faster and everything works quicker and more efficiently. Yeah, it's interesting.
So, okay, so Steve, just to backtrack a little bit, talking about things that have been added to CPUs a long time ago, I've been cleaning up a lot lately, and look what I found.
Oh my gosh, an 8087. And you kept it in the box. Look at you, because you know those pins are frail.
Do you know what these? Do you know what an 80?
Oh,
I was literally laughing to myself, going, "Boy, I hope I don't clang." I don't intend to ever plug them in, so they're what I call ooh ah. You just look at them and go ooh ah. Well, that was that. Okay, we're good. I'm just waiting for Tolowit to say something smart alecky in the chat there. Hang on, I'm gonna get these back up. Steve, I'm assuming you're not old enough to have ever had to deal with these kinds of things, were you?
Never dealt with him, but in my study of history, weren't those? Let me see if I can pull this from the depths. They were the first. Were they the first floating point processor, and they were like meant to speed up addition, subtraction, multiplication, arithmetic, stuff like that?
Exactly right. And they had floating point registers. It was the first time that we saw that in an Intel product, and so if you had the 8086, there was an extra socket on every motherboard for that 8087. And for the 286s, there was the 287. And then the 386 came along and it was all built in. And we're like, wow, that was amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's got the ALU right next to the CPU. Oh, we got a ton of comments here. So before we get to these comments, I got to know, you're already showing brand new parts. Everybody's taking notice. Tell us what you've built or what you've amalgamated here. We can see the 4090. I don't know about the rest of chat, but
what else do you need to see? What else do you need to see, man?
I'm just curious what's supporting the GPU. Oh, that's so beautiful.
So I went with a, believe it or not, Tom's Hardware is pushing the i5s. This is a 13th gen i5.
Yeah.
Look at the speed.
Yeah.
So this thing's smoking fast. And if you think about it, this is a pure gaming rig I'm building up. And, I don't need a ton of cores for game playing. That's all handled on the card, right?
Yeah.
But I need enough that I'm going to, if I want to do Office or Blender or something, that'll give good support to the graphics card. Isn't that funny? We need a CPU that supports the graphics card. So what else do I have? I got a so this is going to be the mama board. So this is a Z790 chipset. This is the Asus Maximus line. This thing's a beast. This is an open box deal I got on this. So here you go. You ready, Steve? Guess how many M.2s it supports?
4. Oh wow.
It'll support 5. So
look at that thing. That's armor plated.
All along, not this here. No, here. So there's 2 in there. There's 2. Wow. There's 1 right here. And here's the crazy part. Here's something I've never seen before.
I got to interrupt you. Did you see Dave's comment? He said Asus Maximus follow up to Asus Gluteus.
Blow him on the ground, Centurion. Waffly. All right.
Oh, Dave.
So this is a PCIe card that snaps in. You only have 3 16-lane PCIe slots. So one of them is going to be for the beast, obviously. But this animal, it's under the cover, but there are 2 more M.2 slots in there. So I can put 5 M.2s. I don't even know why that exists. I mean, one I can see is a, an OS boot device, right? Just run that at like half a terabyte or something small like that. Then I could see another terabyte for, application executables, and then maybe a third for, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah.
I haven't had more than a single hard drive. It's an NVMe, of course, but it's a terabyte. I think Samsung 970 Pro. But ever since I built my storage area network, there's really no need to have on-system storage,
Yeah, well, in my case, I do, because videos and things like that tend to fill things up. And actually, the system I'm talking to you on right now is a bit of a problem child, because I'm sitting on, I guess I could lie. Let me pull this up because I'm actually curious. My C drive, which is basically full, and I've done a super hard clean out. Like I uninstalled all my Steam games and stuff. So I've got this, and this is a terabyte. And then I've got another drive, another terabyte. They're both basically filled up. So I definitely have run into that problem that I warned so many other people about, is data will always grow to fill the size of the hard drive you own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that becoming an issue as I do a lot more video production stuff. Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. All right, so you've shown off all your new toys. Are you excited?
I have a lot more toys, but I wanted to we'll do something more substantial. We'll do a unboxing and all that, but I just wanted to let the folks here on the YouTube channel see some of the toys. I did one quick post on LinkedIn about this, and it was me buying all this stuff at you know what Micro Center is, Steve?
Yeah, we don't have them here, but I know what they are.
So we have a Micro Center here, and so shout out to Isaiah Ray, I think his last name was, the sales guy who helped me out, and he was a user of my Udemy courses, our Udemy courses. I got to get used to saying that, huh? And so that was a lot of fun. It's always gratifying to go there. Always have a few people who know me. And then they had the A+ book there, which I had to explain to them was now can't use. It's the 1001, 1000.
Yeah, you have to switch it out now.
But yeah, so McGraw-Hill, all book publishers, unsold books can go back. So not a big deal. All right, so what do we got? What's happening here? Kenny Clayton's on. I'm starting way right up the top. Steve is IT. Too. Steve is IT. That's you, right?
Yes.
Patricia's there. Patricia, thank you so much for supporting me on MyFitnessPal. I'm down 10 pounds from when I started, and it's from folks like you who are helping me out. If any of you guys want to join me on MyFitnessPal, I'm DesWeds1, DESWEDS1.
I'll join you.
Will you, Steve? That'd be great.
Absolutely. Do you do like any kind of stuff with the Quest? Because I love working out on the Quest. There's a boxing game, Thrill to Fight. We could box each other, or we could do sports games together, anything like that.
I'm not even aware of this.
Oh, yeah. The Quest 2, or the Quest and the Quest 2 are amazing. They got a new one coming out too, but I use the Quest 2 to work out a lot. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Hold on. I thought we could just lift weights.
Oh, man. Come on. I don't have a Vive. I can't do system-based.
Feel the burn. Feel the burn.
Mike, your biceps are bulging. Cut it out.
For the first time in my life, I bought a 1,000-watt PSU, knowing that I was going to need it.
Yeah.
I've bought them in the past just as a flex thing. But
where does that pull? Like 600, 650? The GPU at max?
A lot. North of 500.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 590 or 650 or something.
Yeah. So, and even the case I got one of those big Lian Li all aluminum double stacker cases. So I need lots of air going through there. So I'm figuring 620 millimeter fans working as a team. That's not even counting what's on the card. These cards have 3 fans.
Right.
That, and I can just turn off my air conditioner, I guess.
So what's the first game you're looking forward to playing on that beast?
I want to see, actually, this is part of the fun for me, is this is usually an excuse for me to buy a new game, because a lot of times I'm not necessarily up on what's the what game is really pushing things these days. So this is an opportunity. Steve, I went in fast on this one. I knew I was looking for a 4090 because, Steve, my next best card in my home right now is a 1080. Okay. Because, when the 2000s came out, everybody was like, yeah, right. And then the 3000s came out and nobody could get one. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
And then the 4000s came out and there people like, well, this is the 4090, but the 4080 is coming out next week. And once again, Steve, I used to live in New York City. Okay. And, always wanted to go to the Statue of Liberty, right? You're in New York City. And it's right there, and you go, I'll get around to it. Then, yeah, maybe, after they do the refurbishment. And the next thing you know, I had literally like the day I left to come back to Texas, I finally went to the Statue of Liberty. It's kind of the same thing with video cards. You just keep putting it off, and yeah, we're good. No. So,
yeah. I think this AMA is going to be filled with that. Everybody get used to it. I do remember lining up. I think it was like right when the pandemic hit. And like Newegg and a couple other sites would make you literally buy forced bundles to get one of the 3000 series GPUs. You had to buy like their certain motherboard and PSU that they wanted to offload, I guess, that they had a surplus of, and you had to literally enter a raffle to win a chance to even to be allowed in the list to buy one of those bundles. And I think that's what turned me off to that whole process. It was impossible to find, and it was very predatory.
It was certainly a problem. But, it was kind of unprecedented. I mean, up to and including the 1000 series, those were the GTXs, right? It's been a while. Mm-hmm. A new video card would come out, and you'd have a little bit of sizzle, but it wasn't this insanity. And and I think we're going to be back. I mean, Bitcoin mining is out.
Ethereum now is moved to proof of stake, so a lot of those GPU miners won't need it and there hasn't really, I've been watching that market closely, there hasn't really been a mass adoption of a new proof of work algorithm that people want to adopt that can use GPU based miners. So I think right now we're in the clear. I think we're going to see these prices hold or come down even.
Or come down. Again, Tom's Hardware is the place I go to for pricing and stuff like that. And we've definitely been seeing some pretty good dips. Mm-hmm. And I would like to think that we'll be talking about the 3000 series Insanity, when we're old, but not now while we're young, of course, Steve. I mean,
of course,
50, 60 years from now.
Yes. Much older than we are.
I'll be just a head in a pickle jar back then.
We'll just be keeping your brain alive.
Just like Dick Nixon did. I am not a crook. All right. Steve, I gotta tell you, can we get some work done around here, man?
Should we answer some questions?
We have questions.
Let's do this.
I didn't want to say anything. All right, I'm gonna get a Gatorade. You're on.
Okay, sounds good. Techie Tommy, I want to say congrats, buddy, passing your A+ exam. That's fantastic. If any of you do happen to use the new 1101 and 1102 series of training, find it useful, find it helpful, or have any sort of feedback or criticism, please send it my way. Dave will put my contact information, both my LinkedIn and email, up in the chat here in a second, but I would love to receive some feedback on how we did, where we can improve, and how you enjoyed the course, because it was a blast. I think we did 70 videos, 60 videos, something like that, Mike?
I hardly did any. I mean, and I was happy. I mean, that honestly, I was more worried that you were keeping a lot of my older videos, which you should, because if they're appropriate, yep. And things like that don't change. Don't reinvent the wheel. But yeah, I got to tell you, of all the A+ we've done, this has been the least painful, and so that was great. And you guys do keep in mind, it is important that you tell us about errors, particularly in the videos. It's hard with books, but with videos, we can fix that on the fly most of the time. And how quickly we can get that up to the customer is really up to the customer. Certain customers like Udemy give us tremendous control, and we can upload an individual video. Other customers, very big names that I don't want to name, go through a stronger vetting process. But it's good if you see Steve saying 2 + 2 = 5, don't be afraid to call in and let us know, because we fix them.
And not only that, you got to remember, like, there's multiple takes for every thing, and it could just be a scene was misassociated and put in when it shouldn't have been, or something, something similar to that. So please let us know, give us any sort of feedback. Tullowit's asking where your Livestrong bracelet is. You should be concerned about ESD, saying, handling all that equipment. But yeah, if you happen to, the Udemy 1101 is live right now. I think the 1102 will be live by Friday, from what I've told, and then we'll be on other partners like LinkedIn Learning and other stuff like that in the future here.
Yeah, so it's on the Total Seminars Hub. I think we're all the way up.
Oh yeah, we are completely published on the Total Seminars Hub.
And so how quickly individual partners get it, guys, we don't have a control on that, because we hand it to them. And again, partners like Udemy, we load them up. Udemy doesn't have any way to check things, and or they do in retrospect, and then other partners take longer. So it just depends on who you're using to grab Total Seminars videos.
More questions about the game you intend to play in here? I see that. I did notice that when I was looking up the 4090 marketing information, most of the hoopla tended to focus on either Microsoft Flight Sim or Cyberpunk 2077. Those are apparently the two things to jam.
Cyberpunk 20. I tried playing that game.
I did too when it launched.
Is that the turn-based?
No, it's an FPS. They have like Keanu Reeves voicing an actor in there, and you like all cyber augmentation and.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah. As long as there's a as long as there's a God mode. I get lazy on games. No. The opposite, where I can beat the game easily,
like console mode. You want something like that.
Ooh, look at you coming off all PC Master Race there. Yeah.
I remember having to issue console commands back in the day for like your Doom or Duke Nukem cheats and all that good stuff. Now you don't have to do it anymore. Now you just download a trainer and it does everything for you.
Dude, I thought you were talking like console, like PS5.
Oh, no. I don't have any of that. No, sorry. The only gaming system I have is PC Master Race. Oh, we have a Switch, actually. The wife loves the Switch. So, all right, let's see.
I've totally seen this game. And because Keanu Reeves plays a rock and roller kind of dude. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yep.
But that's the one, huh? And you've been playing it?
So I played it when it first came out. I think it was like a year ago it came out now. And it had a lot of problems. It wasn't, nowadays, typically the hype doesn't match the product for most things, especially when you talk about video games. So it had a lot of problems, but I think over the time period, they fixed them up, and supposedly it plays beautifully and looks gorgeous on the 4090. The ray tracing and all that other new fandangled stuff that I don't have in my GPU apparently adds a lot of elements to it. So, but the story is fun to play through at least once, and it'll take you, 40 hours if you go straight through, or 200 if you fiddle around and go all over the different cities and, try to cause chaos like most people typically do in those GTA style games.
Yeah, I'm looking on digitaltrends.com, and they're saying that that's probably the best game. And then surprisingly, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every piece of marketing that I could find for 4090 compared it to the 3070 Ti's or the 3090 Ti's performance, in Flight Sim and Cyberpunk. And it's funny because it's all orders of magnitude. Like, that's how advanced the 4090 is compared. It's like, it's 3x more performance. It's a serious upgrade when they do that.
Oh yeah. And then what was the other one? I'm literally scrolling through. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Is that on PC? On Steam? Oh, I'm gonna have to get that then.
PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Google Stadia.
And Stadia is getting shut down. Did you hear about that?
You're just a cornucopia of knowledge for me today.
Well, I have Stadia. I bought during their big launch a year or two ago. I can't remember. They sold their little white Millennium Edition, first edition controllers, and you got for $100 you got access. Oh, I think that's actually how I got to play Cyberpunk. It was free through that thing. Yeah. Anyways, they decided to shut down the entire service, so they're refunding all the hardware and all the games you bought. I think they're by the end of this year. So yet another Google project washed away.
Yeah, I still have a pair of Google glasses around here somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sure I have a Picasso photo album up on the web somewhere.
There we go. Okay, now I gotta beat this.
How far back can you go?
Digital reads. Oh, see, I was going to be working downstairs in the big studio, but I forgot we're going to have a Zoom meeting. So I've never got Zoom to work downstairs yet. Where is my, it's all right. I got a copy of DR DOS sitting around here somewhere in the box.
Oh, wow. You know what? Why don't you just go somewhere else and just set that in front of the camera?
Do not listen to him, my precious.
My precious.
All right.
I'm trying to
get serious. Yeah.
Sorry.
Steve, come on, hit me, man.
Let's see here. William, no, you won't have any problems with Ryzen CPUs with NVIDIA GPUs. And by the way, Mike, were you surprised that the AM4 market has held up as well as it did with the launch of AM5? I really thought we were going to see some deep price discounts, but virtually nothing. I think because of the move to DDR5, honestly. So expensive to make that jump.
It's here. 64
Yeah, you got it right.
Here, look at the price. 64 gig of DDR5. Hang on.
We can't see it.
Well, I'm trying to get it past there.
Oh my Lanta. Oh
yeah, that hurt. Now, I don't go cheap, right? So I've got super high-end Corsair as about as low latency as I can count on for that DDR5 speed. But yeah, I had a discount on that, but still it's coming down, but it's spendy. So yeah, I don't remember there being a big when we went from AM3 to AM4, I mean.
No, but I think the hope was, well, at least my own personal hope was that we'd see some deep discounts on the Threadrippers. I don't know if you remember me mentioning that when we were hanging out in Texas, but I was hoping to get one of those Threadrippers for much less than 2,800 or whatever they're going for right now at 2,700. But yeah, I haven't seen really the AM4 stuff budge much at all, which is surprising, I thought.
I'm starting to head back towards the Intel side of the fence these days after many years of AMD.
I've always been Intel. I've never had an AMD chip, so I have a i9-9700KF right now. Yeah.
What?
I'm working with an old beast of a machine, which will eventually be repurposed probably into my new virtual machine server for the office here.
So here's a Threadripper for only $6,000.
Yeah, so you see my point. I was hoping that we would see.
You can go 2 generations later and get it only 1,400.
That still hurts.
$200. $200.
So what were the guys that? What was the explanation for that being so efficient and so powerful?
That with a 4096, it offloads almost anything the game needs to the card. And that really the only thing that the processor doing is single tasking certain like network threads and things like that. And that it's all about the clock speed for game support these days with a big card. That's me parroting what somebody said at Micro Center.
It's interesting. I was still hoping to make my next build a small form factor build. I had my eyes on that Meshalicious case by SSUPD. But with these sizes of these GPUs, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull it off without some sort of custom bracket.
See, I don't want to. Well, you can see it there. It's here. I need a banana for scale, right? So this is the LGA 1700. And there's my finger. So it's that. I mean, for a package size, it seems to be pretty standard. If not even slightly on the smaller side, certainly smaller than in any of the AM4/AM5 chips.
And you were saying you're going to air cool that even on chip too, or are you going to do?
Oh, good God, no! Are you kidding? Come on!
Oh, I thought you got excited. I'm a push pull guy,
No. I've went and got. I've been really happy with Corsair equipment as of late. So I actually got. Corsair makes a particular RGB cooling system for this. So I just, it's just the cooling head and then a radiator. That's it. And
one of those all-in-ones.
Yeah, yeah. But back in my day, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
pre-built liquid cooling systems, I'd never want to go back to the bad old days. That stunk.
Yeah.
Things leaking, and it was a mess. I'm very happy and very pleased. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed with is that I don't have an easy way to patch a cooling system into the 4090, which is, I'm nervous that that's what I'm going to be needing the most out of. I'm basically generating the equivalent heat of 400-watt bulbs, right? Maybe
Right,
even
yeah.
5. So
You gonna replace the pads in there? I know a lot of people like tear the heat sink off and replace the thermal pads inside those.
yeah, and they probably will, but I think that the 4090s are new enough that nobody has anything out. And I didn't look. That's the other thing. So that Lee and Lee case though moves a ton of air. So yeah. I should be fine, at least at first. And I'll just keep my feet warm.
Yeah, that's true. You're gonna need it soon, right? South Texas winter.
Yeah.
Have you guys even started getting any cool weather yet?
I got to tell you, Steve, I actually put on a long sleeve shirt this morning.
Oh wow!
Nice. It was a chilly 65. So yeah, I had to bundle up. Bird.
Yeah. Us too. We're down to. That hurricane quickly brought our fall weather here. It went from 100-degree days down to 80-degree days, and then it's dipping down in the 60s. So,
are you okay? How's your house?
Oh, we're fine. Yeah, we were on the East Coast, so I'm on what's known as the Treasure Coast, kind of in between Melbourne and West Palm, if you know the area.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
Yep. And luckily, by the time it had made its way northeast across the state, it was just lots of wind and rain at this point. But some of the destruction on the West Coast, those people, I have family members that, the entire place is destroyed. So friends whose businesses were completely flooded, and they're like, we're waiting for our insurance claims to come, and we're going back to Ohio. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a difficult adaptation and reconstruction on the West Coast for the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens.
Yep.
So before we move on, I need to warn you, I'm probably going to be visiting you.
Oh, yeah?
I need to get to Florida anyway. And
okay.
I've got family down in Miami, or as mi primo said, Miami. And so I always go to Cape Kennedy because I'm a space fanatic.
Yeah.
And I don't know, have you been to Cape Kennedy, the Atlantis space shuttle?
I have not been in probably 10 years.
Well, you need to go because of all the retired shuttles that are now museum, whatever you call them, the one there in Florida is done so incredibly beautifully. It's actually it's at an angle. The doors are opened, right? And the arm is, put in a clever position. It's beautiful. And so anyway, I'm going to be going through, I'll probably fly to Orlando, head over to Kennedy, and then just take A1A all the way down to Miami just because I like the drive. And I may be knocking on your door.
Let me know. Welcome to stay at the compound as usual. Yeah, and if you do go to the Space Center, let me know. That'd make for an interesting video. Maybe we could go together and we could try to point out and notice some of that technology that's involved.
Oh, but if my NASA friend comes along, then we're really in trouble.
Oh, yeah. He's got quite a few of those.
We'll hopefully get into the vehicle assembly building, which is hard to do right now because SpaceX has got a lock on it, and
right.
But you can badge your way into a lot if you know what you're doing. So anyway, be forewarned. This will probably be Thanksgiving-ish.
Cool. Can't wait to see you again, bud.
We have burned half of our session talking about blather.
That's okay. But we also talked about. There it is. All right.
And it just keeps getting funner.
So I think Mike does plan on recording the PC build and uploading it to YouTube. Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, I've got to put in a request for University of Houston Clear Lake campus, and I'm sure they have an AV department. And I need to talk to Dr. Arturo Perez over there, another person we should get on this show, by the way. And let's see what Arturo has to say about us putting that together. If they won't do it, then I'll have my own crew come in. The bottom line is we're going to have we'll probably do an unboxing here on the live stream, but then the actual assembly will be done down in the Introduction to Computer course at University of Houston.
That's
And
awesome.
we'll have it all buckled up. There's some very motivated kids, and there's nothing more fun for me building a system than having a bunch of people around. And I intend not to lift a screwdriver. Going to let the kids do the whole thing, and just don't electrocute my 4090 is the only thing I'm going to tell them to do. So
There is
Steve,
some.
what you
I'm
do
sorry,
is,
I'm interrupt, but I was going to say there is something beautiful and pure about that knowledge transfer, isn't there?
yeah,
Especially,
it's not that complicated. I mean,
it's
physical
so great.
assembly of a system is just not that big of a deal.
Everything's color-coded.
An aesthetic build is the challenge today. I mean, cabling is a bigger mess than it's ever been before.
True.
And so you get the nice 2-stage boxes where you can tuck everything underneath and make it pretty. Yeah, so it's exciting.
Absolutely. What were you going to say before I interrupted you for the 50th time?
We got to get cracking here, dude.
Oh, we do have to get cracking.
I'm going to, Steve, I'm going to shut up and let you drive a little bit.
Sounds good, bud. Okay, so we need to.
So what are we going to do? I'm kidding.
So I think last time what ended up happening is we did the 1101. Is that correct? Does anybody remember? We stopped at the 1101 and we need to move on to the 1102. I'm going to, Dave, do you have the links to the documents you could post for people in chat? And I'm going to rearrange some things over here so that I can see. Okay, Dave's going to get those links for us. I'm going to share my desktop. Okay. Can you see that, Mike?
I do.
All right. Can everybody else see it? No. Okay.
Take a moment. We got it. We'll get it, Steve. Take a minute.
We'll figure this out. We'll figure this Zoom difficulty out. Let's try.
Hold on.
I think more time.
Dave.
Let's try this. Maybe this will work. No, huh? Okay. Well,
hold on. It is, Steve. It's working.
It is. We can see it now. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Don't forget, we have a short lag.
Yes, yes. So, and we only have about 20 minutes. I'd like to get to some of these questions too. Perfect. Okay. So the A+ CompTIA certification objectives for the 1102 side. Keep in mind, there's 2 exams with the A+. We have the hardware side and we have the software side. We previously spoke, I think, 2 or 3 AMAs ago about the 1101 side. So now we're moving on to the more software side. These objectives, you can download them from CompTIA or from the Total Seminars site. A couple things I do want to point out first. 90 questions maximum, 90 minutes. Pretty much same thing as with the 1101 series. And you have to get a 700 or higher to pass this. There are multiple choice questions. There's the docs. Thank you, Dave. There are multiple choice questions, but they're also front-loaded performance-based questions, which means that you're going to get presented with something that isn't multiple choice or fill in the blank or true, false or something. It's something that you have to engage with and interact with, something that you have to apply the troubleshooting theory and solve. And those PBQs, depending on how you do them, get increasingly more difficult until it leads eventually into the multiple choice portion. But I've only ever experienced, since CompTIA started those PBQs, I've only experienced them at the very beginning, which leads me to believe that they are only front loaded. And then as time permits, or as you either pass or perform well or not so well in those questions, they phase them out. But keep in mind that you could have multiple performance-based questions, which means you're not just going to be asked something on, Windows Active Directory. You're going to be asked to show how to do something on Windows Active Directory, or set something up, or edit or change something. So just keep that in mind, that it's great to it's great to read the book and all that stuff, and it's great to actually absorb the information, but put it to practice, get hands-on, grab some copies of VMs of Windows servers. Microsoft gives them out for free. Grab a disk, install it yourself, set up your own virtualized infrastructure, whatever may need to be done to get that hands-on. Definitely get it done, because you're going to see some of these PDQs that trick you.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I just add to that. We should do Windows A+ style AD questions. We should do our own one here.
That'd be good.
Just let's put that in our pocket.
Okay.
Keep on going. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Perfect. No, it's good that you interrupt me, because I am, as you say, a little loquacious. So as we can see, a little, yeah, I know. I'll work on that, everybody. As you can see here, the percentages, kind of the shift is kind of almost the same with the 1101. There hasn't been too much more. There's a little more into security as we grow and grow as a digital infrastructure type consuming world. That cybersecurity concern is going to end up coming to the forefront more and more. And you can see it's almost getting up to close to being parallel with learning operating systems. So a lot of stuff there with your Windows and Linux, and also Mac OS. Don't forget that. You got to get some experience with the Mac operating system to pass the A+ as well. And then, of course, our software troubleshooting, all those wonderful tools and different control panel applets and all the different things we can do to manage our Windows and Linux environments, and then all the best OPSEC stuff, right? Because how are you going to maintain and upgrade and update these systems and all that good stuff? And that's pretty much the brunt of the exam. One thing I do want to make sure to mention, because I do usually skip over this, because of the period in which CompTIA is publishing this exam, because we're kind of right at the tail end of the life cycle of Windows 10, and they're really trying to push people into Windows 11, that for the 1101, or excuse me, for the 1102 exam, you're gonna want to know how to do everything in Windows 10 and Windows 11. Simply because at some time during the next 2.5 years during this certification life cycle, most of us will have changed over to Windows 11, or at least the product life cycle of Windows 10 will be closing out. So they want you to know how to do everything in Windows 11 as well. The good thing is that if you actually grab these videos that Mike and I did, we do everything in Windows 10 and Windows 11. So you have like quick and easy little reference points you can go to find exactly what you need to reference or learn. And if we move right into our operating systems, Windows stuff, again, not a lot of changes to the stuff from the previous for Windows 10. Know your additions, your versions, know the hardware requirements for each, know the features that come in for each. What do I get if I buy home, or if I buy Pro versus Home, that kind of thing, access to RDP, all that. You're going to want to know all those different feature differences. And then how exactly do you upgrade or get to Windows 10? And they want to know specific things like full disk installs, normal installs, in-place installs, upgrades, all that stuff on the operating system side. Our old friend, the command line, makes its appearance. This is all pretty much standard stuff from the last couple of editions of the A+ here. But keep in mind that, this is, if you have a Windows system right now, you can pull up this objectives guide, pull up DOS prompt, and start going to town and practicing these and figuring out what all the different flags and switches are for them, and learning how each one of these utilities work right now. So these are pretty much, I think every single one of these is a carryover. It all looks familiar. Yeah, it's all carryovers from previous ones. So yeah, nothing new there. And then if we actually look into the Windows 10, again, these are all the same stuff, our MMC snap-ins, our additional tools. We cover all this in the video series. We also show you some nifty tricks like enabling God mode. The God mode folder in Windows is like it's not really a well-kept secret, but it is a slight secret. Most people in the studio when we were filming didn't even know about it. But there's a lot of useful places to perform all these administrative or maintenance functions that you may need to do. And we actually cover every single area you need to go in and why you need to go in there, and show you how to get in there and make those changes. Lots of cool stuff here. I always loved the MMC. I love that idea ever since it came out. Mike, you use that often, MMC?
I have always built custom utilities with the MMC.
Yeah, me too.
You can always tell it's a Mike system because I've got my own, it's usually console 1, console 2 icons, just because I'm too lazy, especially these days, to go through, both control panel and system, depending on, you never know where the utilities are like we used to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I do a pre-build. Of course, I don't have it on this. The one place I can show it off, of course, I don't have one here.
Yeah. And one thing Windows has gotten really good at, or I should say Microsoft has gotten really good at, from like 7 to 8 to 8.1 to 10 to now 11, is keeping utilities kind of the same place, but totally revolutionizing how you get there in the first place, where you need to go, what the first process is. Luckily, the selective search option really helps narrow that down. But if we look more into the control panel stuff, a lot of this is going to be familiar from previous editions. You need to know all your power options, mostly applicable to laptops, mobile devices, stuff like that. But your internet options, how to set up sound devices, all your file explorer stuff, everything is fair game in the exam. Appropriate Windows settings too. So you're going to need to configure a workstation's time, do its updates, securities, personalization, add user accounts, add peripherals to it, add it to the network, add it to a private network, all that good stuff. Set up gaming accounts. Now with the new Windows 11, they brought in a lot of that Xbox HDR and game bar stuff. I can't remember what the exact name of it is right now because I don't have an Xbox. But yeah, they brought in a lot of that stuff. So you'll notice the PCs are getting highly integrated with the gaming functions with Xbox. We move on into our Microsoft Windows networking stuff on client desktop. You're going to need to know all your little networks too as well. This doesn't mention this, but you need to know, everything from PAN all the way to WWAN, right? So your PANs, your LANs, your MANs, your WANs, your CANs, all that good stuff. Make sure you know all your network types. Make sure you know the differences between IPv4 and IPv6, how to subnet mask. I mean, there is a ton of information that we cover in these videos for you. See about anything else here, application installation and configuration concepts. So yeah, so what are the requirements and what are the additions of Windows that you can use if you need to do 32-bit versus 64-bit dependent system? And what about application compatibility? A lot of people don't think about that when they upgrade their systems. Hey, is the stuff, is my stuff that I currently have on my system compatible with this? So we need to consider a lot of that, especially in a corporate or enterprise environment, right? What kind of impact is it going to have to this, not only this machine, but the user or the network operations or the business itself if we make these changes? They go pretty deep on a lot of this. Common operating system types, of course, we mainly focus on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and there is a section on Chrome OS. When I took the exam, I didn't have any questions on Chrome OS, but of course my experience is not always the same for everybody. And then again, a ton of questions will be on Android, iOS, iPad OS now, the new stuff, NTFS, FAT32s. A lot of that's going to be old hat stuff for some of you, but make sure you pay attention to APFS and ext4. Make sure you also know with all of these operating systems that, hey, eventually they do come to an end of life, right? And how do I recognize those end of life cycles? How do I go out to the manufacturer website, find those end of life cycles? How do I calculate that end of life cycle into my business operations and into my plan to upgrade? It's a lot to take in here. Hey, Thomas, noticing some comments real quick. I see that there's an increase in terms of percentage regarding operating systems in comparison with the former. Oh, yeah, there is a more on the OS side, Ali. You're right for the objectives. A couple percentage point increase there. Awesome. Yeah, AD does come up. Techie Tommy is absolutely correct. Active Directory is almost considered nowadays to be almost as an essential function as basic troubleshooting. Almost every environment I've ever been into has Active Directory to some degree, or Exchange, or something in that ecosystem. So yeah, it's coming up in a lot of job listings, and it's never going to go away. Can you make your custom MMC and copy it on a flash drive, keeping all the snap-ins and mute it on another computer? Yeah, you can make them. You don't even need to keep it on a flash drive. I mean, you can send it, you can make them based on another computer on the same network if you have the name and all that. But yep, you can absolutely do that. All right, getting back into this, the different types of OS installations and upgrades we kind of briefly touched on before, but also know the different types of boot methods, right? We can do remote network installs these days where we don't even need to touch an install media. We can do disk installs if we'd like. We can boot to a USB. We can do all sorts of different device installs now. And also keep in mind, they're going to talk about the, how do I say this? I guess considerations when you upgrade as well, which we sort of touched on, but also hardware compatibility in your backups. There was a lot of stuff on my 1102 exam that was about backups and, grandfather, father, son, and 3-2-1 rule and all that stuff. Luckily, we cover that in depth in the videos. How are we doing on time, Mike?
You have 10 minutes.
Should we go right through? Should we stop, answer questions, pick up part 2 next time?
Let's finish section 1.
Oh my God, I'm not even through section 1. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
okay.
all right, man.
Mac OS, desktop OS. Yeah, as you can see, I like to expand upon things sometimes. Yeah, but so different features of Mac OS and desktop OS. And the cool part about this is I'm experienced in Mac, but I knew somebody that was way better than I am. So we brought him in. We call him the Mac Maniac. His name is actually Michael Smyer. No relation to Michael Meyers, just an odd coinkydink. But we brought him.
Take the S at the end of my name and put it at the front of his name.
Yep. And otherwise, and carbon copies physically. I mean, you couldn't tell them apart. But I brought him in to show us all these cool new Mac features and explain about a lot of the Mac stuff. And then, of course, I think this is the last one for module 1. Is that correct? Yeah. And then, of course, you're going to need to know the Linux stuff. And Linux is great because you could just load up Ubuntu or load up Mint or load up Unix or load up Tails or any Linux distro and just start playing with it and get familiar with all these commands and all the best practices and the tools that Linux has. But yeah, that is section 1. We're going to go ahead and stop there. As Mike warned you guys before, I am slightly loquacious. So let's go back so they can see our beautiful faces here. The new has some errors with the questions and some videos. Awesome, Joe. Please let us know. I mean, that's not awesome, but I appreciate that you're letting us know day of. Let's see what this is. Are you talking about like content-based errors or like glitches in the video itself or audio?
Joseph, be shy.
That's okay. Oh, Tullowit picked up a NZXT H7 Flow. So he's doing an exterior renovation on his machine.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome. Okay, Dave's going to work with Joseph and take care and figure out what those issues are. Apparently, too, I'm seeing a lot of reports all over the net in the last 2 days that 4090s are melting power connectors. So
yeah, I've been watching. I'm running a. I don't remember the brand name of power supply I have, but it is an 80+ gold rated system, and this Lee & Lee is designed for airflow. So I am concerned about heat. There's no doubt about that. And we're going to do the unboxing, and then we'll hopefully next week get the installation started. And heck, if it's going to melt, it's going to melt on camera. So it'll be something to watch.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And it's for a good cause.
Absolutely. All right.
Let me see. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Well, let's do a quick quiz for a.
Okay.
Hey, if anybody wants to do a quiz for free practice questions, please type the word yes into the chat window right now. Seriously, folks, we just have a couple minutes. I know it looks very much like old home week here, but we need a few people to type in yes into the chat window. And Joseph, we're going to let Dave Rush work with you directly on that stuff. So, all right. We got people saying yes. You ready? All throughout this show, I have put a CPU up on the screen that people can look at. Whoever types the most information about the new CPU that's going into my new build gets 90-day free access to the practice questions of their choice. Yeah, forget it, Tolowit. I'm not giving this thing away. I had to stand in line for it as it was.
I'm still hoping Tullowit then on Mike's drive down to Florida that, I get offloaded some of his old equipment.
Notice I got quiet there.
I did. There was no response.
I mean, I got a 1070 card sitting in this beastie of a box.
No, I'm good. I'll stick to the 2080 Super.
I've got one of these monster Corsair boxes.
Oh, by the way, we got a whole new garage. It's totally off topic, but we got a whole new garage door system in the house, and I had to move some boxes and stuff around. I found the 6th, 7th, and 8th editions of your books, the McGraw Hills, before the all-in-ones when they were the two separate with the lab manuals.
No, we were doing the all-in-ones and the separate books at the same time.
Oh, were they set? Okay, I thought it was before then. I thought that was interesting, though.
Yeah, here you go. Let's see what I got.
Oh. Famous last words, everybody. Let's see what I've got. All right, Mike, if you don't know, you went completely blank, buddy. All right, keep with those answers. What was the most you can remember about the CPU that Mike showed throughout this broadcast? Oh, there we go. He's back.
Look at that. Can you hear me?
Oh, I have the same case, Mike. The Corsair Carbide Air 540.
Yep.
I have the same case.
Yeah. Do you actually still use optical media?
Yeah, I have the same. I probably have the same drive-in too on its side. Yep. Oh man. So you're obviously a purveyor of fine cinema.
Ah, come on. It was a hilarious movie, man.
I don't even remember it, to be honest with you.
Scotty doesn't know.
Oh yeah, Matt Damon singing. That's right.
Or Vandersex.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. All right. Well, we need to pick a winner here. We've got a couple that are almost neck and neck. Some not so close.
All right. So it looks like I would say Mohammed has got it. Mohammed, you really want to win this, man? You've won a bunch of these. I'm going to give it to Mohammed unless he says something. Yeah, so Mohammed, you nailed it, man. Core i5 Gen 13.
Oh, he passed. He said pass. His next
Did
comment,
he pass?
So,
Okay.
So Ali then.
Ali, you're the winner this year. This year. Oh my God!
Congrats, Ali.
Congratulations! Big round of applause to you for winning. Well done, sir. Ali, in order to grab your prize, you are going to have to work with Dave Rush, and Dave will post all the information on how to claim your prize. Basically, you got to send Dave Rush an email, which he will post into the chat window for you. And there you go. It's all up. And Ali, it's up to you, so you do have to make that contact. And best of luck and congratulations, winning 90-day free access to the practice questions of your choice. Mike, Steve, you need to come back, man.
Yeah, let's do it more often. Let me know.
No, you have to let me know. You and Dave work it out. I'm not going to get in between you guys, but I would sure love to see more of you, sir. Even as much as a weekly basis, if
Sure.
you were so inclined. The torch is being passed to you, so we sure hope to see more of you as opportunity presents itself.
I shall not let you down, good sir.
I'm not concerned at all. Ali, is the A+ suitable for remote jobs? I mean, 100% online. No, I mean, the A+ is a certification, right? So are there remote jobs where A+ certification would probably be sufficient? Yes. They're probably not going to be the best jobs ever. They're probably going to be, lots of online help desk type support things.
Call centers, yep.
But, they pay well. So the answer is, Ali, yes. But remember what I always tell people, you need to do 100 resumes to get one job. And the pickier you get, the more resumes you have to generate. There's always a job for everybody. But when people get pickier and pickier like that, it just takes longer. And as long as you're cool with that, fantastic. All right. Dave
Mike,
Rush.
did you even notice my shirt today, buddy?
No, but it's very cool.
And look what's right near the heart. The old number 2, Old Faithful.
I don't know. I can't see it. What is it?
Screwdriver. Oh, it's all components for all
I
different.
got the, yeah. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's a screwdriver. Yeah, I don't know. Etsy has. Sometimes I buy weird stuff on Etsy. This was a scoop.
I love it. I absolutely love it. 2XL, man.
You got it, buddy.
All
hey,
right,
Thomas,
guys.
I appreciate the feedback, buddy.
All right, folks, listen, we're going to wrap it up. It is 3:00 Central Daylight Time, which means it's 4:00 in Florida. So we're going to wrap it up. We will be back. What is today? I'm not kidding. Today's Wednesday. We'll be back on Monday. And do remember, we got Dave Rush, DRAMA, or Drama. And that is every Friday right here on the Total Seminars channel at 2:00. And if you're interested in doing things, I don't know if anybody, did you notice when my camera was pointing at my system? Did you notice the Raspberry Pi down there?
No, I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
You got a pie hole?
It's a Pi hole, and
Nice.
I love it. It's absolutely incredible.
I do too.
And if you want to learn about stuff like that, that is Fridays here at the Total Seminars channel, 2:00 Central Daylight Time. Hang with Dave Rush. Until then, this is your buddy Mike Meyers hanging out with Steve Nicholson, and we are out of here. We'll see y'all Monday. Bye, everybody.
Take care. Thanks for attending.